Hello everybody, it's Arson here, and in this video I'm basically going to be doing part 3 of the Minecraft Animation tutorial, which, I'm basically making an updated version for some that don't know. But also, I saw some issues. Some people were complaining about some issues that they had, and in this video I'm also going to fix those, and I'm going to do those first actually. So first, there was a problem about how to select things. I hope my future editing self brings that comment up right now. But there was a problem on how to select things. So there was someone that said that they couldn't select things. Alright, so, actually I think it'd be better if I actually brought the Minecraft world up, where they, tagged the time. Don't know if it's called tagged or what it's called, but they wrote like the time down of where they were confused, I guess. Alright, so I enabled the screencast keys add-on, and to select something, as you can see I did some stuff here, and this also, I'll get back to why the skin is like this, and this is actually pretty useful because some of you might have had this problem and I'll tell you why. But to select something, here's what you need to do. You just need to left click on it, and if you didn't do what I did in the first tutorial, I think, while you have everything selected, you need to click F3, right, separate, and do mesh separate, and do by material. Once you do that, then you'll be able to select the individual items from like a scene, or yeah. There we go. I hope I solved that problem. Another problem was when they were here, it was like someone was in rendered view for some reason, and it was doing this. This you can't really get rid of. That's why I recommend you be in material mode most of the time. But then they were saying how they couldn't see the background when they were in material mode. Well, I still haven't found the solve for this yet. I don't know why you can't see the background when you're in material mode. But yeah, anyway, now that we've got rid of those two problems, I'm gonna pay my attention here. So this actually happened because I deleted the file for the skin, and the thing is, when you're making an animation, right, and you have like a character with a certain skin, you can't delete. So, say it's selected, right, I went here, and then in the Shane workspace, I selected a file, like the skin, the PNG, and then next time you open up Blender, that's where it's gonna look for the skin. The material it's not gonna, even if you move it, not delete it, if you move it anywhere else or do anything like that, it's gonna look in where you last left it. And if that folder isn't there, if that item isn't there, then it's just gonna look like this. This is the default. So I actually don't know if, let's see, let's go into tools. I don't know for sure where there they are. And I'm just going to do Zombie 2.0 because this is a less violent version of a zombie. But there we go. But anyway, let's just be done with that. And now, let's get into the tutorial. So this one is actually pretty complicated. It's pretty easy in a sense, but it's pretty complicated. So I'll explain to you what I mean by that. So first of all, I'm going to change this to what he had. Which was this, and it's actually useful to have it like this, because if the actual HDR has a sun, then it's just better to show sunlight. So, what I recommend for you to be able to like have a glimpse at where the sun is just turn on rendered mode, just for a little bit, alright? So turn it on, look around a bit to see where the sun is, and it's right there, alright? And to turn it, to like turn the background, you just need to move these things right here, like I showed you in the last episode. Alright, there's the sun. Say I want the sun to be 256 degrees, which it'll actually just put it very close, like nearby. There. Yeah. So there we go. Say I want the sun to be from this position. Oh, let's just, never mind. So we can just change to where the sun is with this thing. right here, and there we go. Say I want the sun to be there, but then there's a problem with doing this. And that problem is, say if the sun is here, right, it still doesn't give any sunlight. While the HDRI does give the whole area light, it doesn't give it the sunlight, okay? It doesn't make it more powerful at this one spot. So you just need to make the sunlight inside of Blender. It's pretty simple. So you do Shift A. So alright, let's just go into material mode. It doesn't show in the shading workspace. Now I won't need to say it, but I'll still say it. So the sun's over there around, I believe. I'm gonna click rendered view real quick to see it. Yes, it's right there, right above that house. So you need to click Shift A, bring in a sun, then do that, selection to cursor, and boom, you've got your sun. Now, if I were to render like this, then it'd just be going down, alright? If I were to give you like an example, let's see. Also, another thing I think I missed was that if you take the camera to a position where you want to render, right? And you just click F12, then it'll just render it out. So as you can see, when I do this, it does give a little more light, and you can see the shadow. I can get rid of it to compare. I'll do that right now. Let's say I do that. I just realized that did not bring the sun down there, didn't do anything because it's just a direction. Anyway, now if I bring it here, alright, there's some problems with I accidentally clicked the wrong key. Anyway, there we go. I want the sun to face there, and you'll see a huge difference if you're putting in the sun. It'll look from like a dark, dumb scene to a better one. Also turn on ambient occlusion. I'll show you the difference it makes right now. So let's just render this here. Alright, so as you can see, this is what it looks like, and the reason why there's a lot of noise is because you have very little render samples, which the reason it's like this is because you're just sampling it. When you're actually ready to render, you'll set this to like 150 or 200. But anyway, you can see it like this, right? It has way more light than it did before, and I know this because I actually looked at it before, but it will have more light with the sun. But now if you had ambient occlusion, I'm just gonna call it AO. If you had AO and you render it again into your second slot, which you can switch up here, there you go. You're nearly finished. It'll show the percentage down here. Once you're done rendering with ambient occlusion or AO, you'll notice that it kind of it floods everything with light, alright? It's just throwing light at everything. To fix this, what you'll need to do is you'll need to go here, change the factor down to something lower. So the factor, he changed it to 0.4, so 0.4, and this to 10, the distance. The distance is basically what how much of it actually goes into the small corners, but I'm not actually going to show that. I just don't want to. Alright, at about this point you can see the difference it made, alright? But see, it gets a little darker, but it's still way better. But now there's still a problem. You can't really see the sunlight, alright? It just looks like everything's lighted great. But so, alright, to fix this, you just go here. So select the sunlight with left click, go here, change this to 3 or 4 even, and change this like a yellow color. The biggest problem that I had when doing this before was because I was like, okay, alright, that looks like a good yellow color, and that was too much. It just needs to be slightly yellow. The tutorial really helped in that sense. Anyway, now if you go into the fourth slot and render it, alright, so now you can see that just has more light from the last one. Let's see. As you can see, it looks way lighter here than it did before. It actually looks like there's sunlight. Now I'm actually going to get into what the tutorial showed, which this is a 50-minute tutorial for a reason, and there's a reason why I'm cutting that down to very little, because a lot of this is actually the same, like the composition, which is the blur and the boosh, as they said, like no boosh and like the mist, that's the same, except the one spot where it's like here, you need to go to look here, view layer properties, and you need to turn mist on from here. But that's pretty much the only thing that's different. Everything in the everything there's the same, but here you can see, hold on one second, here you can see that here you can see these two, leaf back facing and vegetation translucency. Those are nodes and they're not the same. Also, you need to do study previous animations with them. Let's see, there's a new one. Oh, alright, anyway, I'll throw that over here. Alright, and I'm sorry this is going slow. It's just, I don't know, sometimes I have no idea what I'm saying. I don't have this scripted out. So anyway, if you want to add the translucency and the transparency and all that, well, right now I'm just going to pause this for now. I'm going to pause this for now, and I'm going to check in the actual video because it's still kind of hard for me to remember it. But yeah. Alright people, I found it. So alright, this was where you basically selected all of the leaves and the leaves only, remember, and if there's different leaves, like see I'm selecting these leaves, but these leaves are different, and you can't do them at the same time. So if you have like 4 different types of leaves, then you'll have to do it like each type of leaf, if you understand what I mean. That's why I actually want to have trees, which there's trees everywhere. But anyway, here's what you'll need to do. You'll need to make it so that in Minecraft you'll notice that you can't see that back leaf while looking here, and I'll show what I mean by that really quickly. So you'll want to click on the shading workspace, and here just change this to object. You won't need this, you won't need this, you won't need this, and you won't need this, but just connect this color to here. There we go. And boom. As you can see, the leaves remain the same, but you got rid of a lot of the mess. So now what you'll want to do is you want to just pull this over. Now I need to kind of see. By the way, if you want to know the reason why I'm looking at the video and then showing you how to do it, is because I'm not an expert at nodes. In fact, I started a couple months ago. It's just I know a lot about Blender 2.8. Like, all of that time I was learning with Blender 2.8, so I kind of know how to like translate the nodes from 2.7 to 2.8, and that's all I know. Like, not all I know, of course, but that's what I'm showing in these videos. Anyways, alright, actually watching it like just when he was about to put it in, I realized how easy it was. So you click on this mix shader, you do Shift D, which duplicates it, and you put it wherever you want, but make sure it's in between these two. Then you want to bring in a transparency shader, so right here and click transparency, transparent, and put that there. So what these two do together is basically this says, okay, now that all of this, now I want to mix all of this with another node, and this with another shader node. This is a mixed shader, so you're mixing shaders. Anyway, now you want to go here and search up Lite path. So this is basically saying, I honestly don't know, actually I'm not sure it's Lite path, I'm pretty sure it's geometry. So geometry, yes, it's geometry. Anyway, so you bring in a geometry node and you do back facing, put the back facing right there. Now here's the effect I was telling you about. See, now when I look here, I can't see all of those, right? So it's making the back facing leaves transparent. See, I can't see those. If I were to take it out, oops. Alright, let's see. I don't really want to take it out right now, but anyway, you get the point. Now I'm going to repeat the process with these right here. So once again, pull this over, Shift D, add in a transparent, and then bring in a geometry, which I'm actually look for it here. And let's see, vector, never mind, geometry. Just gonna bring this back facing right here. And I'm just going to delete this, delete this, delete this, delete this, and put this right here. And as you can see, we just got that same effect here. Great, there we go. Now the other thing that he showed was translucency, which this you just need to, alright, so you need to do this translucency with both the leaves and the grass. It'll obviously be easier on the grass because there isn't as many nodes there, but anyway, I'm gonna go and look for it now. Alright, so for the examples that he showed, I didn't find it yet, but for the examples that he showed, you might just want to go and watch his tutorial to see the differences between the translucency and transparent and that. But I'm just going to show you by taking this shot right here. Hopefully this will show you what translucency did. So I'm going to click F11, go into slot 1, and I'm going to start replacing them. So I'm going to replace the slots by rendering. So something you might have noticed while I was flying around a bit, maybe with the rendered view, well, something I noticed was how the grass has like, well, these have like these black things over them. And this was another point that he mentioned, and it is in a different place now, which is why I thought it would be great to mention it. So the thing with this grass is that, well, I don't know what that thing is, but I know the fix. In Blender 2.8, you just need to go up here into rendered, or like render settings, I believe, render properties. And to just turn the transparency up to like 16 maybe, maximum 16. Remember, the higher you make it, the more the render times will be. So as he said, you should probably only do this in the scenes that you see this, because it takes the render times up. And quite a lot actually. So right now I'm just gonna leave it at low. But remember, you'll want to do that only if you're having troubles with that. Now, I'm just going to continue my search. Alright, I found it, and it isn't as hard as it may seem, nodes actually, so I really recommend you learn them. Because nodes are really useful when it comes to like later. Nodes are going to be the most useful thing, because you can create all types of cool materials, including like enchantments, fire sometimes. So yeah, I believe this is how you do it. So you search up an add shader. So you bring an add shader here. And then you also bring in a translucent shader. There we go. And the leaves are going to look like this. Then you just bring the color into the translucent. And I believe that is it, actually. So then you can do the same with the grass, which is delete the specular normal map. And what that actually did was, so slot 1 you see this, right? And I'll show you what it's like when it renders in slot 2 with this complete. So if it's grass and it isn't the leaves, which the leaves had it like this, right? It went into mix shader. You saw how I did it for the leaves. The grass is going to be just a tiny bit different. You're just going to have to put this between the principal BSDF and the mix shader. And then you're going to want to repeat the same process, basically. And we'll put this into here and hook the color from the diffuse text up here. And boom, you got it. Now, the only difference you're going to notice is it's going to be a little lighter in the viewport. But now if I render it, hold up. I'm just gonna find that same spot right now. So if I render it, you'll notice, say from here, if I go here, slot 2, and I render it here, well, if I render it here, you'll notice that it actually looks way better. So the light actually passes through the grass. See, right now it's all dark because the grass is actually, it isn't like this. It doesn't normally look like this because that would be way too many faces. So it's just two faces. As you can see from like looking at here, it's just two faces, right? With transparency. everywhere except the grass drawing on it, basically. That's basically what grass is. And when you add this, and if you actually go here, you'll see, that I didn't put it on the tall grass. And you'll see that the grass in the shade looks like darkish, and this actually lets the light pass through. You'll see these shadows here. That does hurt render times very little bit in 2.8, I think, but it's worth it. It's really worth it, so you really need to do that. Anyway, I'm just gonna redo that here. There we go. So to redo this, all you need to do is bring in an add shader. Once again, just plop that right there. Bring in a translucent shader and hook the color up to translucent, and boom, you got it. Now, if you re-render that into say slot 3, you will notice that all of everything now has it. So this is 1 without anything, this is 2 with the regular, and this is 3 with this as well. And I recommend you do this to every grass-like and leaf-like thing, object, and, well, anywhere. So I'm actually not going to do it to these because I think they're out of the scene a little bit. But anyway, here's how you do it with leaves, here's how you do it with grass, and yeah, I believe that's it. There's also one more that I must go over. The reason why I'm not doing mist and glows is because it's all the same, except you need to enable mist from the layer properties here, and passes and data, you just enable it here. Everything other than that though is the same. So now I also need one more thing to show you, and that's using objects as lights. Also, the best way I found to using torches as lights is just clicking shift, right clicking, and then just bringing in a point light right there, and it just, I guess this is the only way to do this. This is the only way that I found, and it's the easiest actually. So yeah, also then you can go here and change this to like a yellowish color, yellow like this. You need to go pretty yellow with the torches because they're supposed to be like fire. And you can increase how bright you want it to be. Like you can make it really bright, or you can make it soft, like not bright, dark. But you might want to go brighter than that if you're making a torch. But anyway, that's basically how to do pretty much everything. But there's also another thing that I didn't show you how to do. I see how long this video has been going, 27 minutes. I'm gonna have to cut that down a bit. So I want to go into file, append, to bring in, say, a glowstone, right? You want a glowstone somewhere. So say you have a glowstone to begin with, right? Like you put it in your scene and it doesn't light up very well, right? Like you want it to have more light. This is pretty easy. So search, say, glowstone, bring that in, there we go, GZ, boom. Now if I go into rendered view, say you want this glowstone to have more light, right? So you want it to be really bright. For some reason, say you want it to be bright, which I wouldn't exactly understand that reason, and I don't exactly understand, there we go. So say you want it to be really bright, right? Like super bright, like lava or something, I don't know. You'll notice, wow, it gets brighter, but it gets ruined. So I leave this where it was, I believe at 2 around. And for that, well, you basically need to create a whole new node, which I'll be right back. Alrighty, and I already found out that was actually pretty fast. So what you need to do, if you want to have super high like light, but still have it be in its normal color, is you need to do this. Let's go into material so it's not too laggy. You'll want to go into shader, mix shader, plop that in right here, add another emission shader, put that in at the bottom, and then bring in a light path. This is why I got mixed up with the light path before. And you want to put the is camera array into the factor of that, I believe. And you want to bring this color to the bottom emission as well. Now you can turn the top one up all you want. So if I go into render view, this will probably be brighter than the sun. Oh yeah, feel the burn. But it'll still retain its beautiful glowstone detail. Mwah. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this tutorial. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you have any issues, tell me in the comments. I'll try my best to solve them. And like you saw at the beginning of this tutorial, I spent quite a lot of time trying to solve those problems that I got from the last two. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next one.